I never thought the day would come that I would have to address one of the most controversial things in all of gaming. Nostalgia. Now, if you're unfamiliar with why it's controversial, let me bring you up to speed. There's this idea, and I've noticed it on some of my videos, where someone who chases after nostalgic experiences is trying to relive the past, kind of like a Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. They're unable to just move on. It's synonymous with a juvenile desire or a more adolescent admiration. It's not grown up enough for the internet. Now, I for one have fallen victim to the nostalgia bug. I mean, my life was very simple. I would wake up, go to school, promptly leave school, go to a friend's house, play video games. But now, I mean, it's not the same. I don't get to do that, and this is where this enters in. This is where the problem arises, that a nostalgic experience that you're looking for is unrealistic in nature because there is no feasible way you could go and experience what you did once before because now your life is completely different. Now, to a certain degree, I get it. I understand it. It's true too. I can't experience gaming like I did before, especially with all these responsibilities. But I don't think that that's a problem. I don't think that yearning to have these experiences is actually an issue. Let me give you an example. So this right here is my new beautiful Sony Trinitron TV. It is a lot heavier and a lot more cumbersome than I was anticipating. This thing weighs 100 pounds and it's still in my garage for a reason. Right here is a movie of Mrs. Doubtfire. And this is a movie I watched as a kid. This movie was incredible as a kid. Loved it, laughed at it. Never really felt many other emotions than the funny things that happened. With Robin Williams, with all the stuff on his face. That was funny to me. But now as an adult, the jokes I laugh at are different. The emotions I feel are much more deep. But the experience overall is a very different experience. And that does have to do with the way that my life works. I am now a father. Robin Williams in this movie was a father. I'm not an irresponsible one like he was, but I can now relate to the feeling of a dad who has kids that he loves and realizes that his decisions actually mean something. I didn't feel that as a kid. And if I'm being real with you guys, this idea that nostalgia is an unrealistic expectation, sure, if you're looking to relive your past. But what if some of us aren't looking to relive our past? Now, something I want to make abundantly clear is I'm not saying that CRT or VHS is better than DVD, Blu-ray, or any of that stuff. That's not what I'm suggesting. I'm enjoying my time right now. But I'm learning from this process more than anything else. I'm learning from the inconveniences that it drives in tension. That my son yesterday was watching Jungle Book in the garage with other kids. He was watching it on VHS, and the kids were enamored by this huge giant box that was sitting in the garage. They couldn't believe that something was on it. They're like, what is this? I'm like, this is actually what a TV was. And it was so exciting. But what it brought to light was the fact that intention. My son, he wanted to change it. He couldn't change it. It's not that easy. You don't just get to change it. You're committed. And through this experience, I started playing the Minish Cap with my Discord community, which was a great experience. I really, really enjoyed every minute. That game I didn't love when I first had it. The first time I played that game, in fact, it was during a time where I was coming off of Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time. These games were very different than Minish Cap. And for me, the experience brought to light this idea around nostalgia. This life is different. It's just not what it used to be. Can you actually enjoy it? And to be honest with you, you're absolutely right. Life is not even close to what it used to be. And it shouldn't be that way. And something that became abundantly clear through the process itself was that the games that we used to play hit different. And it wasn't because we were younger. I mean, some of it may have been, but it wasn't. It was because our mindset was different. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. This was something that's brought up by my buddy Ethan. He's gonna be a recurring character on this channel because he's the man. He and I were talking about our hobbies, and whether it's reading manga, building Gundam, Legos, watching anime, any of these things, he goes, at the end of my day, after a full day of work with all my responsibilities, I have to figure out how to maximize my time. To throw on a YouTube video, a Twitch stream, potentially watch an anime in the background while building a Gundam, and in between that, playing a video game. I want to be able to enjoy again. I want to be able to have that feeling I used to have when I was a kid. I can tell you right now, it's very, very simple to address what that feeling was. It wasn't that we had endless weekends to play video games and create memories like LAN parties or whatever, although that was something that happened. It was that we had intention. This intention that we had when playing video games was because we had no other option. Man, back in the day, I used to have to keep my game on while I went to school just so that I wouldn't lose my save file because I couldn't get to a save point in time. I mean, suspend and save states weren't things that we had when we were kids as easily. In some games, the autosave feature wasn't even close. Final Fantasy X, you had to get to a save sphere or else just nothing was going to be saved. Same with Kingdom Hearts. I remember those days so vividly. And the reason why I remember it is because it's all I could do on my TV. I had a little tiny 12-inch CRT TV in my room that I played all my games on, and all I could do was play that game. Sure, I might throw on some Offspring or, whatever, My Chemical Romance in the background, but probably not, because I was listening, I was immersed, I was completely enamored and engulfed in the story of that game. And this is the thing that a lot of people give criticism around video games, is that we just don't have that same type of attention. Our minds have changed. They have. They've been conditioned to interact with our media a very different way because of algorithmic feedings, as well as our inability to just focus on one task, because it is more efficient to do multiple things at once. And when it comes to gaming now, I find it to be so exciting to be able to appreciate what once was, through some of these different avenues. This right here is the new book. This is the definitive book of SNES RPGs by Bitmap Books. This is literally a full book of games that I have not experienced fully. And there are a couple in here that I've already looked because they send you the PDF when you get the book. And I'm just gonna show you. Final Fantasy III. This is what we know as Final Fantasy VI. But there's a game in here that's a little bit closer to my heart because it's one that I've always wanted to play through fully, and I've never got to complete because of my own personal, inability to stay focused. And that is Chrono Trigger, right here. This is a game that I will be sharing with my community sometime soon. And when it comes to looking back, this nostalgic experience, my attempt at playing games with others like I was before was one where I was like, okay, will I be able to feel the same way? Will I be able to actually have that feeling? Now, my experience was actually quite unique. I was expecting our conversations to be more around the games, to be more around, oh my gosh, I remember when I did this the first time. But some of the conversations in there were about just not having enough time, for carving out those few minutes at the end of the day after we put our kids down. This was something that I remember having conversations around life with my friends when I was younger. Not about having kids, about being a kid, getting the homework done, skipping a class to finish a level. These things were us relating with each other. These are the feelings that you can still have. And I think that through the experience as a whole, through Minish Cap, through all the different puzzles and all the different gameplay, especially on an older piece of hardware, fake old, with the analog pocket, I found myself wanting to experience more with others. I found myself wanting to go back and look through these books and try to find the games that I missed, the ones that have been recommended to me, because nostalgia doesn't have to be this unrealistic, juvenile outlook where you're looking at a game because you don't want to look at your responsibilities and you'd rather live in the past. I don't see nostalgia as that. I see nostalgia as taking a feeling, the intentional type of gaming that we used to do as kids, being specific, allowing for other things to not exist at the same time, which is totally doable, and applying that to our hobby. In fact, I have a very practical way of going about this, which I discussed with our good friend Ethan. What do we do with all these hobbies? You start deciding which night does what. On Monday nights, I play Minish Cap. On Tuesday, I build my Gundam. On Wednesday, I decide to play through a multiplayer game with friends. It's the fact that everything is competing for our attention. Everything wants to take our time. Everything is so important. Something I learned through my experience with Minish Cap is it's not about optimization. It's certainly not about efficiency. And actually what it is about being intentional. The inconsistencies with older hardware, the complete and utter randomness of life, are things that we used to just have to deal with on the fly. Optimization and complete efficiency wasn't a part of that. And I'm not saying don't be efficient, don't optimize different aspects of your life, but when it comes to your hobby, when it comes to gaming, when it comes to experiencing things like retro games, I don't think you have to be efficient. In fact, I think that there is far more intention in inefficiency, and so there's far more fun in that freedom. I hope this meant something to you. It certainly meant something to me. And as always, play more and be kind. Cheers.